Hello and good evening. There we go. I'm just going to put this one up here a minute. So we should get everybody through there. So, good evening. So thank you for joining us on a Tuesday. A Tuesday night. As you know, this is where I can be all by myself, so we shouldn't have any issues with trying to get people on. And what have you. Hold on. Hello, Marie. Right, I'm just gonna. Sorry, I'm a bit blurty at the minute. I'm just trying to get everything set up. I should really do like I do on the Sunday night and have a little like theme tune while I get everything. There we go. Hello, Holly. Hello, Claude. But we're up in the game with the free social now, so we can start sending you across, which is brilliant. So yeah, so we was going to bore you tonight and talk about belief and trust and all of that, but that can wait. That can wait. Obviously, we got to say hello to Hermes the cat. I knew she was going to do this. I fed her before, so she wouldn't hassle us. But being a spiritual being, she's interested in what we're going to be talking about. So obviously we got to send our thoughts up to the 100,000 people that have died in the UK now of the coronavirus. Hello, Laura. Hello, Carol. So we've reached the first milestone of 100,000. Personally, I don't think it's going to be the last, but we can send up the thoughts because obviously it's a lot of souls going to the world of spirit. So, Claude, so I know, Herms, it's going to be your show. If you turn around to the camera, it wouldn't be so bad. But what we're going to do tonight, because my dear wife reminded me of another great medium that has been past a while, and if anybody's a medium or clairvoyant in the UK, hopefully you've already heard of her, because if not, I don't know what your teacher was teaching you, and that's the great late Doris Stokes. She's on the same par as Gordon Higginson that we saw last week. So hopefully you will enjoy her as well, because she's very old school. And my big thing is trying to explain the difference between working for spirit and working with spirit. Because in my realm of reference, there's a very massive big difference. There's a big difference. Because you can work with spirit, which is fine. But working for spirit is totally different, and that's what I believe obviously Gordon and Doris does as well. They work for spirit, and if anybody's listening later on, etc., in years to come, that will actually understand me and go, I understand that, Des. It makes a big difference. If I can do that, brilliant. And Hermes is now looking at the camera. Okay, you're very photogenic. But if we can do that, as I said, in years come, somebody can pick up this tape and go, I understand it. Because I said it's fine working for spirit, not a problem. But sorry, if we work with spirit, not a problem. But if we work for spirit, you just get so much more. But coming back, so I shall bring you in a minute, or introduce you to Doris. This is 1986, so we're going back another 10 years, or another 4 years than Gordon, because I think he was 1990. So we're even going back again. But she's the only, don't quote me on this, but I think she's the only UK female medium that sold out in London, the Royal Albert Hall. I think she did. So she was one of the first clairvoyance mediums to fill out the Albert Hall. This is when she's in Australia, the Barbican. Hopefully you will love her like I do. And as I said, she's got the whole mediumship online, and she does lots more stuff. But please sit back, grab yourself your coffees, and enjoy. And I will be back in 7 minutes.
Thank you very much. How many of you this afternoon are new? Am I what you expected? Did you expect me to come on with long dangling earrings? And man, I do have to wear a flowing robe to hide a multitude of sins. And those of you that's sitting close enough to me can see my legs shaking. I don't want you to start nudging your next door neighbour and say, "She's going, look. She's going into trance." You should be so lucky. I had 2 strokes last year, and unfortunately it's left me with a shaky leg. And if I get myself a bit uptight, which I postponed an operation to come here today, so I've been in quite a bit of pain this week. But God's good, and He's seen me through, and I'm here today and this afternoon. Now let me make one thing perfectly clear to all of you that's new to us. There is no death. You can't die for the life of you. So it's no good you gentlemen hanging one on at the weekend and then on Sunday morning saying, "Oh dear God, I wish I were dead," because it's an impossibility. And unless you're going to join in, then it's going to be a waste of your time and our time and the magazine's time for us to be here, because it is all that I can't reach up and press a button and say, "Right, let's have you." You can't do that. It's all got to be done by love. You've got to open your hearts and let the love flow out. I can't bring anybody back. When I was in Australia, I was doing a TV show with a presenter, a chat show like we are here with Tony, and suddenly the man leaned forward. Everybody started to titter in the audience, and I thought, am I showing my underslip or something? And they went on tittering, and unbeknown to me, they'd put a drop curtain at the back, and there was weird lights flashing all behind, you see. And the man suddenly leaned forward and he said, "Tell me, Doris, what does it feel like to raise the dead?" And I disgraced myself. I went into hysterics on television. I fell about, and when I could get my breath back, I said, "Raise the dead, love. I couldn't raise the skin off a rice pudding." And that's true. I can't bring anybody back. Only you can do that, and only if they want to come. You've got to send out the love, and you haven't got to be afraid to talk back to me. This is important. You've got to talk back, because I'm a clear audience. I don't see spirit people. I see spirit children quite often, but I don't see adults. But what happens, you see, when you start to talk, I forget all the other people that's here. I forget the cameras or whatever's going on, and all I'm concentrating on is the person I'm talking to. And you've got to concentrate on me and the people that's talking to you from the other side. That way you'll get a good afternoon. And I make mistakes. You'll hear me say possibly I might be talking to someone and going very well and everything's coming right, and then suddenly they'll start shouting and say, "No, Doris." No. And then suddenly I realise that I've got somebody else in, and I say, "I made a right pig's ear of that. Can you stop and start me again on a new vibration?" So sometimes it's a little bit difficult. But how many of you think mediums are queer people? Go on, be honest. How many of you wrote to the magazine and hoping that to come and get a sitting, right? Well, what did you expect to see or to get? Somebody that speaks. Thank you, dear, because that's what it's all about. If I can't do it, I'll be the first to say it's not working, boys and girls. We'll have to try again. But please God, they've never let me down yet. And sometimes I can get a full address. Sometimes I only get part of an address. Sometimes I'll get a surname, and there might be 2 people in the audience this afternoon with the same surname. But don't worry about that, because I have to work out which one I want, because I asked the other side to give me information about that person. And this is important. You know, a lot of people think we're abnormal, you know, and when we moved to London, we had a cat, Matey, and the first name that used to go down in the telephone book when we moved was the vet's number and then the doctor's. And one day I was packing to go to Australia, and got a sitter coming, and I got a duster in my hand, and I was trying to remember, I was picking things up and putting them on the bed ready to go in the cases, and suddenly the cat went berserk, and he started making the most awful noise and rushing in and out of the room. So what on earth's the matter with the cat? So I went in the kitchen to see if John had put his breakfast out, and it was there, and I put him to it and didn't want to know, so I got some fresh fish out and I boiled that, and he didn't want to know. And he was still making this awful noise, and in the finish I was walking about with the cat in my arms like a baby and a duster, and the cat was going meow. I thought, why don't I ask them upstairs what's the matter? So I stood still in the room and I said, is anybody about? What's the matter with the cat? And a voice came back and said, he's got the toothache. True. So I went to the telephone, and I'd never spoken to the vet before. And I said, good morning, is that the veterinary surgeon? And she said, yes. And I said, could the vet come to look at my cat, please? So she said, are you a client of ours? I said, no, but you've come highly recommended. She said, well, he won't be able to come for an hour and a quarter because he's doing clinic. So I said, that's right, as long as he comes. So I gave her my name and address and where we lived and the telephone number. Then she said, oh, by the way, madam, any idea what's the matter with the cat? Oh, yes, I said, he's got the toothache. So she said, how do you know? And I said, the spirit people told me. And there was a long silence. And I said, have you gone away? And she said, no, who did you say told me? So I thought, well, in for a penny, in for a pound. I said, the spirit people told me. She said, the vet will be there as soon as he can. But the punchline to the story is, when the front doorbell went, I rushed to the door with the cat in my arms, still moaning, bless his heart. I said, oh, thank God you've come, Peter. And he said, how did you know, ma? I say, you're not the lady. I said, yes, I'm afraid I am. So you see, sometimes you have to be a little bit careful of letting people know what you do, because they think we're a bit abnormal, and really we're not. We have more fun than any religion, I think, in the whole of the world, because we can laugh at ourselves. That's the beauty of it. We can really laugh at ourselves.
So that was Doris introducing herself. Hopefully you enjoyed. We'll go on to the reading in a minute. But I just thought I would share that because I love the story, obviously, about her cat, and then I had to think, why spiritual people got cats and not dog? I don't know. But I just loved it because that's a medium's life. Anybody that gets involved in this way, and I loved it that the way that she thinks that people do stereotype us. Not me personally, but just the whole weird working with spirit. We've all had that. We've all had it. You weirdos and all of that. But at the end of the day, we have a more fulfilled life than the people that call us weird. But I just loved it when she just sent up a thought about her cat, and obviously spirit knew. And it was quite funny, obviously, when she said to the vets where it came from, and I just love that because that happens to me, not on a daily basis, but if I get stuck, I send up a thought, because they're our dear friends are there all of the time, because we were going to talk about spirit guides. We'll do that next week, because Doris is brilliant. But I love it because once you open that door, they become part of your life, and they can help you in so many different ways. So the next reading, or the next bit, obviously, is Doris doing a reading, and the reason I'm showing you this, and hopefully you can get something from it, is the way that she interacts with spirit. All right. The way that she talks to them, like if there was, because they are there, nobody can see them, but they're there. So she has a lovely conversation, and she just talks to them as they're her best friend, and that's, in my view, and the way I work, that's what they want, because at the end of the day, you're working for them and not for the person in front of you. The person in front of you may want to know about their relationship. They may want to know if they're going to get a job or if they're going to get pregnant. But at the end of the day, that's why I personally work for Spirit. They may want to know that, but your granddad may not want to tell you all about that. So that's why different readers work in different ways. Not a problem with that, but if anybody watching this can have a relationship like Gordon, like Doris, hands down to you, and I'll be bowing down to you guys. If you come back and go, Des, get me on the show, we can do that, because once again, once you can, and you blend so much, that they become you, the information you get, is phenomenal. But please just, it's just the way that she interacts with Spirit. So if we can get that from watching Doris and watching Gordon, then brilliant. We've done our little job this evening. But once again, this is halfway through, so basically, because it's a big show, the gentleman that she wants to give a reading to is upstairs, so he's got to walk all the way down, but he's walking as we're speaking. So once again, put your feet up and enjoy, and as I said, it just watch the way that she works for Spirit and with Spirit, but it's the interaction.
Come on, my old darling. She's still worrying about you. She said, get somebody to bring him. Watch, he's not very good on his legs, coming down those steps. Yeah. He doesn't see very well, she said.
No, I don't actually.
So she was worrying about you. She said, tell him to take his time, he doesn't see very well. Now, is her name Edith, love?
No, her name's Ethel.
Ethel?
Yes.
You'll give me that, will you? I knew it was a short Edith or Ethel.
Yes, Ethel.
Oh, but you're Norman?
I'm Norman, yeah.
Oh. Is this your old man, darling? I'm calling you Edie. She said, no, my name's Ethel, love. Yeah, I thought you said Edie. It doesn't matter, pet. This is your husband. Tell me I'm all right with the water, love. I don't want to distress you unnecessarily.
Yes, that's right.
And she said, oh, Doris, I waited just to tell him I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. He's blaming himself, you see, because he didn't hear me go.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, and I don't know why, because I've got a marvellous husband. And April is important. It's you with the April, love.
Yeah, it's when she actually, she disappeared on the end of March, beginning of April, but she was found in April.
In April, that's right. Well, it didn't belong to Craig's mum and father at all, love. It belonged to you.
That's right.
She was already getting the 2 penneth in. She said, April's important. That's when she was found. She went she was in the water, love, wasn't she?
That's right, yes.
But she said, I'm so sorry, love, and I don't know why. I'd been ill, and then I picked up again, and I know, darling. Yes. Who's Peter she's talking about living? Peter.
Peter.
Or Paul, it's a Peter.
Don't know no Peter, don't know no Paul.
Look, love, you'll have to come and talk to me. You can't stay with Norman, because otherwise I can't hear you. I only hear the sound. P, it's not Peggy, is it? It's Pat. Somebody called Pat. Somebody she knew called Pat. Tell me now, I think she said she was afraid she had a disease that was going to make her a burden. That's what I said. What happened, love, to get you in that state? She says, well, tell you the truth. I thought I'd got a disease. She got cancer, she thought. And she was going to be a burden. And so I think I went a little bit out of my mind, But she said, yes, all right, darling, take your time. Just let's get it right. 2 o'clock in the morning, she went out.
I was asleep, actually. I don't know.
So she was in bed, and she said he never heard me go.
That's right.
And he said, I just thought I'd go for a walk, and I don't know whether I meant to do it or whether I just fell in. I honestly don't know. All I want to say, my love, I'm sorry. We've been together 40 years, you know, Doris.
That's right, yes.
40 years, and then to wake up and find me gone.
Yes.
And she said, but he's been blaming himself.
Yes.
And that's what I want to say. Don't blame yourself, love. I want you to be happy till we're together again. Because he said, if only I'd woken up, if only I'd done this, if only I'd done that, as she said.
That's right, yeah, it's true.
Don't, love, she said. Don't be unhappy. And he's done, yes, has he? He's trying to keep up like I did. He's put some new curtains up, some clean curtains up, you know, Doris.
Yes.
Always at this time of year, she used to put clean curtains up.
That's right.
And
yes.
she said, bless his heart, he said, if my Ethel was here, she'd be putting up the clean curtains, so I'm going to do it. She was there, love.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
And you carry a wedding ring in your pocket, dear love.
Mm-hmm.
She
Yes.
said, she's got my wedding ring in his pocket. She's so happy, and yet she's sad because she's left you behind. And yes, I know, love, it's very difficult. She said, accidental death, did they? She said, I don't know, honestly, my love, if I could tell you, but I don't know whether I was wondering and I lost my balance or whether I don't know. I think I must have left me. I wouldn't have left my husband like that, Doris, would I? No, I don't think you would, love. But did she say anything to you about worrying about having cancer?
Well, she never actually said it to me, but I think she was a bit worried because it wasn't actually cancer, it was something to do with her bladder, really, which caused a great swelling in her stomach, and I think this is what she was frightened of as well.
She thought that she'd got cancer.
Yeah.
And she couldn't sleep, and she got up and went out for a walk, and well, you must have walked a long way, darling, if you got there.
Yeah, she did.
She
It was
did.
a hell of a long walk.
She said, I went on walking and walking and walking until I think I just stopped, and I thought, I can't be a burden on my Norman. Were you in the Air Force, Norman?
No, it was in the army.
What's you on about the Air Force for? I was in the Air Force, Ethel. Now, she's met somebody called Bill over there.
Well, there's two Bills over actually. One's her father, and one's, although his name's Joseph, but his second name is William. So there would be two
So it's
Bills.
Bill and Joe.
Bill and Joe, yes.
Well,
Joe,
was one of those in the Air Force. Had something to do with the Air Force. I'm sure she said Air Force. Don't worry about it, lovey. I might have misunderstood. Yes. What about, yes. Who's Ben?
Oh, that's
Little
an
Ben.
old gentleman. Oh, little Ben.
Little Ben, I thought she said. Or did she say a little man? Did you say a little old man, love? I thought you said little Ben. No, little old man, Ben.
Well, the only Ben I know was a pair of old age pensioners who we used to look after in our old place.
He's over.
That's right. That would be I would often know that if she went the other side, that would be one of the people she would be with.
She said, tell him I've got little Ben with me. And I thought she meant little Ben. She said, no. We used to say, how's my little Ben this
that's right.
morning?
Yes.
When we looked after him,
Yes.
she said, how's my little Ben this morning?
That's it.
And she said, that's how he would recognise him. Yeah, and I'm still getting this name Michael Stewart. Does it mean anything to you?
Who's it?
Michael Stewart.
Michael Stewart, no.
Doesn't mean a thing to you, does it, love? Oh, the Michael Stewart, love, yes. And the Mary that I tried to give to Shirley, Ethel's given me. She's met somebody called Mary. Mary Ann. Or Marion. Mary Ann, I thought she said. No. She said, no, sorry, darling. She said, you haven't got it right. Try me again. It's Mary and Annie. Mary and Annie go together. Doesn't mean a thing to him, love.
No.
So I can't take it, darling, unless you give me a bit more. Don't worry about it, love, yes. And yes. And Peter tried to give before she's giving Ethel's giving Peter living.
I don't know any
Peter
Peter.
living. He doesn't know any Peters, love. Yes, he does. He knows the Clarks. She goes, yes, he does. Think of the Clarks. Come on, our Norm. Think of the Clarks.
The car?
Clarks. You know the Clarks, lived at number 18. She's getting herself in a right old paddy here with us both.
That's it for all right.
Come on now, Norm, she said. Think of the Clarks, lived at number 18.
No, it doesn't.
Not ringing any bells at all, darling, so I'm not going to push him with it. His name was Jim. You've met Jim over there. And Mary and Annie's still this side, is that what you said? No, it doesn't mean a thing to him. No, it probably belongs to somebody else. Are you sure you... Yes. Who's Ivy she's met? She says he knows Ivy.
I do know an Ivy. I did know an Ivy, rather.
She's met Ivy over there. And yes. Yes, I don't know, you see. I know, love, it's difficult. Yes. June the something. June 8, June 18, June something. It's got an 8 in it. It's a birthday anniversary of some kind she's on about. Did you have an old folks home or something?
I live in it's not an old folks home, but...
Because she said, there's a lot of people you have to think about that we've known. We all live together, you see.
Well, the only place I know is when, on our little estate where we live, where it's wardenised, actually.
That's it, and you're all sort of in the...
Yes.
She said, think of Annie and Mary.
Oh, yes, I know, yes. Yes.
They are, I should have told you knew.
Yeah.
And she...
Well, being a man, I don't have much to do with the women.
Said, when we all live together in a community...
That's right, yeah.
She said, I am sorry, love. But she said, don't blame yourself for 1 minute, because he did everything he possibly could. But I got this fear, and anything I didn't want to do, I was always active, you see. Yes, love. I was always active. And my biggest dread was that if I was going to be a burden and have to be washed and taken to the loo, and that wouldn't have done for me.
Yes.
So, but she said, I'm not dead, love. And yes, and on the bedside table, my picture's there.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And before he goes to sleep at night, he reaches out and kisses me.
True, yeah. True.
And I kiss him back and say, you can't see me, but I know what you're doing. And you've still got a nightie that you took under the pillow.
That's right, yeah.
She
Great,
said, that's how close I am to you.
Lovely.
Norman, I haven't gone very far away at all, love. I'm only in the next room. Just send out your love, and when you kiss me, talk to me, because I'm there. And you'll have to knock on the wardrobe or something. Yeah. He's got what? £55 in a box? No, you're telling me... You mustn't tell me personal things, dear. Well, now I've said it. Have you got £55 in a box?
I did have.
You did? Sometimes they tell me personal details and I repeat them before I realise I'm saying something.
Yeah.
But, lovey, she sends you so much love. And Norman, take some flowers. I know that you've only got 1 room now, she said.
That's right, yeah.
So, take some flowers from your Ethel.
Thank you very much, Doris.
And she said, he's got a vase, my favourite vase. He took that with him.
Thank you.
Didn't you?
Yeah.
When you moved and you only live in 1 room now.
That's right.
You took her favourite vase and put the flowers in and say, my Ethel gave me these. She's got 3 grandchildren, I thought she said.
1, 2... Yes. Well, well, she got a few more than that, actually, but...
yeah, but 3 was close to her.
3 are very close to her, yes.
3 she saw regularly. She said, no, altogether we've got 7.
That's right, yeah.
Altogether we've got 7.
We've all together 7, but 3 were very close.
3 was very close to me. I saw more of them, but I loved them all. She said, tell my kids that I'm all right, Norm, will you?
Oh, lovely, thank you.
And, she said it. I don't know what else to say to him. She said, I wish I'd have said I love you more often, but you don't, do you? No, we don't, Ethel. But she said, I do love you, Norman. And I'm never very far away. So put some flowers by her picture, darling.
Yeah.
And when you say goodnight, know that she's there. Will you do that for her?
Would do, yeah.
God bless you, my love.
Yeah, thank you very much, Doris. God
bless you. Bye-bye, love.
That was the great Doris Stokes. Thank you, Michael, for joining us. Yeah, I mean, once again, I'm not here to dissect the reading, because once again, I'm not going to do that. Not with somebody like Doris. There's no reason. But I just loved it, because at the end of the day, we are the voice. We are the voice of spirit. The people that want to work for them. And it happened to me, and I think I may have told you already on the show. But it was a case of somebody phoned me up a while ago asking about her guide. The next thing, she knew her guide's name, and he thanked me for being his voice. And that's what we are. We are their, we are their voice. And people that do readings, live shows, how people pass over, and that a lot of the times they're not with their loved ones, because it's a car crash, it's a heart attack, it's a quick passing, so they don't have that closure. And once again, this is me, but that's what I've always been working towards, and always been taught by my dear friend Janet. She was of that school, where we're there to fill in the pieces, and if we can do that, and as I said, anybody that's listening in the future, if you can do that, brilliant. We can help you by watching this, not a problem. But like Gordon, like Mavis, who was on the first show, and Doris, I just loved the way that she was bringing the person through, mannerisms, sayings. Once again, this isn't going to happen overnight, because else every medium clairvoyant would be working like that. We have to work towards it, but it's always the highest and the best. When I sat in circle, I sat in circle for 4 years, just me, Janet, and one lady, one girl, just the three of us, 4 years. And she was always saying, always ask for the best information. And as I said, if you want to go online, Doris Stokes, she's got the complete, I won't call it a concert, but the complete meeting is there. She does a lovely other reading to do with a young lad who had a car crash and broke his neck, and his sister was there. But I just thought that was the lovely one with the old gentleman, because once again, he didn't know how his wife passed. He just woke up, and she disappeared for 2 weeks, until the police found her. And the big thing was her to say it wasn't his fault, because he's been going through life thinking it was his fault. What could he have done? Could he have woken up? Could he have stopped her? So it's made his life, I won't say better in any way, shape or form, because he's still lost his wife, but the healing starts. He understands more, and that's what we do when we work for spirit, is we bring them through, and their mannerisms. And once you get that, and you're talking to a lovely lady or a gentleman, and it keeps hitting the button. Okay, cool. So terms, but that's what we're here for, and if anybody can do that, and the person next to you go, God, you sound just like my mother, or you sound just like my father, something that he would say, that's the way he brushes his hair, plays with his face, what have you. That's what us spiritual people have to aim for, and as I said, when we do the course with Self and Lee, we'll talk about blending and how how to get them closer, But we've done that before, and we love it when you get 2 or 3 spirits or loved ones in the world of spirit, and they keep walking away. It's interesting to tell you to tell you the least. It's a very interesting experience when you're talking to somebody and they're like looking at you like if you're talking double Dutch, but the lady behind can take every word, as that case is. But please remember, once again, believe, trust, and work in spirit. They won't let you down. It's only us letting ourselves down because we listen to them, and then we always override them because us being human, we're the best, and if anything that I say can get you there a bit quicker, because there's so many people that teach in different ways, but I mean, to me, they become your best friends. They lead you to places you would never ever dream about. And hopefully, as I said, we'll do something on spirit guides, because I know that Lee found a lovely thing with Elaine. She's a trance medium, and Jonathan, her trance guide, came through and very eloquently talked about spirit guides. I was going to use that, but Anna May said no, Doris. So we went with Doris tonight, and we'll do that next week, hopefully. So fingers crossed. So not sure about the hearing. So Clive, loving this talk. Hearing I lost it 6 months ago. So see, Clive. Thank your lucky. I won't say your lucky family, but I don't know. I just want to talk about your mother. I don't know why. But if you watched the Saturday or the Sunday show, you would have have heard. See, now the cat's in the background. In the cat litter, I've got to learn to take that cat litter out the room when I record or or do any live shows. See, just had to have the last word, but we love her to death. But yeah, so we'll do that next week. But as I said, if you can just, because when I was getting involved with this, we used to watch a lot of John Edwards from the States, because he was just breaking out then. He was about 25 or 30 at the time, and I listened to him a lot. But unfortunately, there's not a lot of these now that Derek's gone. And I mean, as we said the other day, it's just Tony Stockwell, really from that thing, because all the forefront, the people that was on the TV, unfortunately they've passed, and now you've got to go and search the internet high and low for somebody that can move you on. All right, but I always try to tell you the easiest ways, okay? Because working with spirit is so easy. It's unbelievably easy. Although you read books and people will tell you how difficult it really is, and how many hundreds of pounds it's going to cost you. All right, we don't do that. All right, because spirit wouldn't work with me if that was the case. And that's why my big thing is once again, believe, trust, work. They'll come in, change your life, and it'll be brilliant. You'll be sat here in 5 years' time doing readings, making people cry when when you get that link, when they 100% know who you're talking about, and especially if it's I won't say especially, but the hardest things obviously are sons when they pass in car crashes and stuff. But then if you can work in this way, you've done spirit service. Anne, C, I'm new, which is fine. Thank you for finding us. but this isn't a live reading show. We do that on the Sunday, so you can join us at 7 when we're doing 3 or 4 mediums and we do a live show. See, I'm asking a reading on romance, please. You see, and that's brilliant because Anne is looking for somebody that works with spirit and not for spirit. And but thank you for joining us, Anne. It's a really quick one tonight because obviously we do a 2-hour one on a Sunday, but please join us obviously with the World Beyond show on Sunday with Lee and myself and Sue and some random guy, Derek White Sky Cloud, that randomly comes on and says hello and then goes again. But it's always interesting, it's always fun. We never know what's going to happen if the software works. But please take this, please watch it back. As I said, go online. Gordon, Mavis, Doris, they're the 3 big old school ones, and you can learn so much more from the way that they work, the way that they link with spirit, the way that they interact with spirit, because at the end of the day they're human. Well, they're not human, but they're soul, but they still have their feelings. So I will leave you with that. Enjoy yourselves, stay safe. Hold on a minute, but because you're new, Anne, just 2 seconds, a minute. I've got my cards here. I don't know if it's. I'm not going to do this for everybody, by the way. I'm just because they're there. Just one card for you, Anne. New beginnings, love. New beginnings. All right. I'm not going to say any more on that, but you've got new beginnings, which is brilliant. But thank you for joining us, and we'll be back obviously Sunday at 7, and fingers crossed Tuesday at 7 as well, until you get really bored of me, and then nobody watches, and then I'll just put my feet up and watch Emmerdale like everybody else. On that note, we'll bid you farewell. See you on Sunday at 7 p.m. with the rest of the gang. Bye for now.